because people weren't sure how he was going to respond in London 2012 because his fitness had got a bit worse. And in terms of the Paralympics, I don't know why you're laughing.
Because you just said Harry. For some,
I don't know if Prince Harry is a big swimming fan. Maybe
he might have been in attendance. Maybe
how he?
No, you said Harry. But
I said how he.
Anyway, let's just move.
Anyway, Paralympics would be the moment when the marathon runner from Uganda, Uganda's first Paralympic gold medal.
Yeah.
When they won.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, Jack, a moment from you now.
For the whole year.
For the whole year.
Yeah.
For the big event.
Big event. It's got to be the U.S. elections.
Well,
presidential elections. Of course, Obama was expected to win them, but I don't think he was expected to win by quite the margin that he did. I mean, I stayed up till about 3:30 watching it. I don't know how much of the coverage you guys watched, but it's certainly going to affect world politics for the next 4 years. It was a bad night for the Republicans, considering that they had the most expensive campaign in political history. I think America's at a bit of a crossroads, to be honest.
Well, of course, America are one of the powerhouses, isn't it? So for their general election, basically,
yeah.
It is massive consequences for the whole world. And obviously Obama, he won it. And like I said, expected. Not expecting Republicans to be that bad again, really. So will they be able to turn it around in 4 years? What will they do to turn it around in 4 years? Do you guys have any ideas what they may do?
Well, first of all, it will be interesting to just see what Barack Obama can do in the next 4 years, because I think a lot of people, when he was last elected, it was a case of this guy is the guy who's going to change it all. It's all going to go, we're all going to be feeling brilliant after he's been elected. Unfortunately, that just hasn't been the case in certain areas of America, and it is the fact is, Mitt Romney, it was a disastrous campaign in the end after what happened. But if they can find somebody who can, if they can get a certain aspect of the American people on board, then they've got a great chance. Because Barack Obama, although he's done some good things, he hasn't lived up to some of the promises he did make beforehand. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can live up to them promises.
I think if they move away from the traditional white rich man, I mean, look at the excitement when Sarah Palin was running with John McCain. That's it. And the excitement, the Republicans thought, we've got a woman to get behind. If they maybe elected a woman, a black man like the Democrats, Hispanic, someone that people can relate to, instead of do you know what I mean? It's like, that's why I think Hillary Clinton will follow Obama, and she has a very good chance of replacing Obama.
Jack?
Well, I think that the Americans, the Republican Party, they don't just need to look at their image, they need to look at how they're not going to be seen as... they need to change their image on immigration and on the economy as well, because the economy has started to boost again, and it started to... job figures started to improve, and they need to be... You allude to the fact that they're seen as part of the white middle class. They're also the party of big business as well. I mean, look at where their donations came from. But it's also, I think a lot of people are put off by Republican values, policies on stuff like abortion, gay marriage, and immigration as well.
And I think Tom would like to mention the fact that there was a new record set for the most money wasted on failed election campaigns.
Yeah, well, a certain Linda McMahon, of course, whose husband is Vince McMahon of the WWE, they spent $45 million on 2 failed campaigns, and both times it wasn't even close. Basically, within a week before the first time it was that she'd lost. This time, although it went down to the final day, a week before it was all, confirmed, basically it was she can't win this. So it just shows you, how that $45 million really could have helped the WWE improve in terms of their general product, really. Well, am I going to go for the next moment? I've got one in my head, but
Go on.
and I think this is a great moment, and it is that Lionel Messi's broken the long-standing record for most goals scored in the season. Well, officially he has at the moment, but
That's being disputed.
It'll be interesting to see whether the dispute is settled. But just what do you think makes Lionel Messi such a great footballer in terms of because he scored 70 goals with his left foot, 9 with his right, but surprisingly he scored 7 with his head.
I think that's just it. I think he's got everything. He's got vision. He's got technique. He glides past players with ease. Shoot with both feet. Finish from just about anywhere. He's got everything. And how do you defend against that? When also you can't just man mark Messi. Let's not forget you have players like Iniesta and Xavi who can just place a ball to him with their eyes closed, basically. So in my opinion, he's probably the greatest player of all time, and I think we've just got to be really appreciative and be thankful watching him in his prime.
Right, well, I completely agree with you there, Dale. I'll say this, I watched him against Celtic at Celtic Park during the famous 2-1 win for Celtic, but what I've got to say is that Lionel Messi that night, even though he wasn't having his best game, it's got to be said, he was the best player on the pitch, basically, just behind Fraser Forster that night, I've got to say, because Forster kept Celtic in it, but that's what Messi is. You just can't tackle him. People think, just take his legs out. He's that quick. He's gone before you tackle him.
Well, I think one of the main things he's improved on is strength. Because I remember, I believe it was 2007 when Liverpool went to Nou Camp and won 2-1 and beat Barcelona two-legged tie. Messi hardly got on the ball, and when he did, I think he was just powered out. So I think strength is very underrated, and you don't think of that with Lionel Messi. I think that's worth bringing up.
Right, well, the next moment, Jack, Dale, which one wants it? Who's going to Bagsy this moment, Jack?
Jack hasn't said anything for a while.
Jack, do you want to
You
Bagsy?
actually took the microphone.
Well, you did say you didn't want it.
Yeah, and then bring it back to me, but whatever.
Have you got a point, Jack?
Well, I was going to make a point, but it's
Go on, make a point.
Do you want to make a point, Jack?
Yeah, I will make a point. People talking about Messi being the greatest footballer on earth. He hasn't proved himself at a World Cup yet. And I saw him once at the World Cup against Mexico. Whilst he was great on the day, he didn't score like many players in the World Cup. Just didn't prove himself, and he'll need to do that before he becomes the greatest player of all time. And as you alluded to earlier, we're not even sure if he has scored the most goals of any player in a season, and that's been disputed by the Zambian FA.
Well, it's interesting that though, because I believe with Barcelona, he's their main guy. With Argentina, it seems that they don't want him to be the main guy, and they try and make Carlos Tevez and Higuain and Aguero, players like that, they want, because Messi seems to be the guy that they want to assist, him to get the assist rather than the goals. Well, Barcelona, it's the other way around. So it'll be interesting to see whether Argentina change their policies and then become, win loads of stuff with Messi being the main guy, or whether they stay as they are and always just seem to be quarter-finalists and semi-finalists. But it'll be interesting to see, Dale.
I think, as being trainee journalists, the thing that we can't ignore is from 2012 is the publication of the Leveson inquiry, the Leveson report.
Yeah.
Which could change journalism forever, really. With a legislation could come in. I know David Cameron doesn't really want it at the moment. He wants it to still be self-regulated, but legislation could happen, and it would change journalism for good. So I think it's worth talking about.
Well, first of all, one of the points the point I strongly agree with is all the papers, in my opinion, have to be involved. there's a case where Richard Desmond in the PCC, he's not involved. Well, of course the PCC is disbanded now, but he wasn't involved in the PCC, which meant he didn't have to go by them rules, which meant he could basically do what he wanted in terms of ignoring the PCC. So in my opinion, whatever happens, all the papers have to be in